The Information Technology Industry Council expects investments in IT modernization to go up under the new Biden administration. The fiscal year 2020 IT budget's about $88 billion. Richard Spires is principal at Richard A. Spires Consulting, former CIO of the Department of Homeland Security. Richard, welcome. It's great to see you again. We've been at this $80 to $90 billion number for a number of years now. It doesn't appear that budgets for anything in government will explode at any time in the near future. What difference are you seeing in the way that agencies are deploying the money that they're getting for IT?
Well, Francis, good question. I mean, I would say, obviously, the pandemic has really changed some of the investment profile, and I'm kind of heartened by what's happened with that. Even though in a very bad environment right now, the pandemic has really put a spotlight on the importance of IT across government, and I think a lot of the agencies have responded pretty well to that. With that being said, I think a lot's going to hinge upon whether or not the Senate changes control regarding budgets in the future. If the Senate were to flip to the Dems, I think we've got a chance to see a significant increase in IT modernization spending moving forward.
Where should those resources go, though, Richard? What are agencies doing well that they should extend, and what have they not leveraged yet as far as transformation or modernization, whatever term you want to apply?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the negative side of this. I mean, the GAO recently did a study where they surveyed agencies, and get this stat, in 12 agencies that they looked at, only 3 of them had really solid IT modernization plans that not only dealt with putting in new systems, but actually dealt with how do we rationalize the legacy? How do we replace legacy where we really need to replace legacy systems? That's only 25% of agencies doing that. That's a really poor number. And I think we've got to, in a new administration, really focus on putting in solid IT modernization plans on an enterprise basis across the agency. And then together with that, and I've got a number of recommendations for the next administration, but let me hearken on one other one, which is really critical, and that's around cybersecurity. While you're doing that IT modernization planning, I think you should also be driving towards moving to zero trust models for cybersecurity, and you can do that within the IT modernization plan. And then if you bring in the use of the cybersecurity risk management framework, okay, from NIST, and really do it right, then you've got a way to prioritize your investment in cybersecurity. So you're really focused on the most important things, the most critical assets within the agency. I think if you do the IT modernization planning well, together with that cybersecurity zero trust model and the rationalization and risk management approach for cybersecurity, I think you can really move the needle within a few years in federal IT.
So is there a way for agencies, or is there maybe a template that agencies could take up to build those modernization strategies, to build those plans? Because you're right, that's an alarming number. And I mean, quite frankly, I'm surprised that that hasn't happened faster than it has, because it's the old adage of if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there.
That's right. And in fact, I call it piecemeal modernization. That's what a lot of agencies are doing. I'm not saying that some of the things they're doing are not helping. I mean, I think incrementally they're helping, but we need a wholesale change in the way we're going about IT. And I think it begins with that good planning. So look, there are good templates out there. I mean, we don't have to go reinvent this stuff. We could pick from the best of the best that's already being done in government. And this is really a mandate for OMB in the next administration, okay? Whoever's ever in charge there, they should using these templates and force the agencies to go through this planning exercise. And I recognize, it might take years. It might take 5 to 10 years for some of these agencies to truly modernize, because they just aren't going to have the resources available, nor do they have necessarily the talent, okay, to do this as fast as we all would like to. But if you have a rational plan, to your point, that you know where you're going, then you can put in the incremental steps to get there. And by the way, this is not in any way taking away from, you want to be using modern development techniques, agile, DevOps, now DevSecOps. You want to be using modern development approaches, implementation approaches, but that does not obviate the need for the good planning that I've talked about.
And it strikes me too, Richard, the transition is not really a great excuse for the delay of those strategies being developed, because I think, if I recall correctly, about half of the cabinet level, at least, chief information officers are careers, so they won't necessarily flip January 20th, right?
That's right. And in fact, there's really, this isn't an issue, at least on the planning side, of money. This is an issue of just doing it right. Mm-hmm. and enforcing that discipline across the federal agencies. I think that you start there. Whether or not you're going to get it a plus as far as the budgets, we'll see. But I frankly think we can do a lot, okay, with good plans and then incremental achievement over time. That's coordinated, right? That makes sense, rather than this piecemeal type of modernization that we see too often.
A lot more we could talk about the strategies, but I want to mention zero trust in the time that we have left, Richard. There are a lot of agencies that are talking about moving to zero trust models for security. Is maybe that the problem, that they're talking about doing it, but haven't quite gotten on to the execution part fast enough?
Yeah, that's probably a fair point. I think you're seeing, at least there's a lot of focus. A core of zero trust, of course, is good identity management. And you are seeing real movement in identity management space. Of course, you've had cat cards, for instance, in DoD for a long time, but you are seeing an uplift there. I think if that's a start, but obviously that's only one component of zero trust. We do need to move that ball forward, but again, I would reiterate, do it smartly, and that's where real risk management comes into place. I think if there was discipline that would, again, the use of that risk management framework, so that you're really focused on an enterprise basis across the agency on the most important assets, we could move the ball quite a bit further in cybersecurity as well.
We just have a very short time left. What has the Trump administration and the agencies under it done well, IT-wise, that the Biden administration should continue to push?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of good work that was done under the president's management agenda. Don't throw that out, okay? Build on it. Build on the best there. Frankly, one of the big focuses was on IT modernization. I just don't think they took it quite far enough. A lot of focus on data, for instance, okay? A lot of focus on cost accounting, like the use of TBM. These are all very good things that the Biden administration should build on.
Richard Spires, thanks very much as always.
Very good. Thank you.